That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet.
When you could not prove anyone right or wrong, all the expertise was contained in the people involved in the conversation.
We hope you enjoy our conversations. And as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, "That don't sound right," send us a comment. You're one of us.
And for that 4 months, they're going to miss the turtle.
Yeah.
They're going to really miss the turtle. And they're going to be so looking forward to getting the turtle back. Welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right, a podcast about talking. We're your co-hosts, Peter Billin.
I'm Cecil Davis.
And we're just trying to have a conversation without Googling or fact-checking each other online. Those things can so easily kill a conversation.
Last week we talked about cold temperatures, which reminds me of a story I recently read, Peter.
Yeah, well, the whole story?
Yeah, no, it's just part of the story. Now that I think about it.
Let's.
I read more of this one than I normally do.
Okay, all right. Just make sure we have a full disclosure.
So there's this couple that have pet turtles.
Okay, what kind of turtle?
Like Rocky Balboa.
What kind of turtles are these?
I don't know what
these
kind
are typical
they were.
box type turtles.
I don't think they're good. Yeah, a typical box turtle.
Okay.
Is there a difference between a turtle and a terrapin? That may be another episode.
Ooh, that's a good question.
So they have these turtles.
Fear the turtle, says the University of Maryland.
And turtles during the winter will hibernate. Or I don't know if it's called hibernation with turtles, but they will bury themselves in the mud.
Yeah, I mean, what do reptiles do in general?
Yeah, they'll dig down, I guess, below the frost line, bury themselves, and go into a slower state until the spring, and then they'll come back to the spring.
They're hard being cold-blooded.
Yeah. So these people have domesticated turtles.
Right. They probably found them on side the road, crossing the road. Let's have a pet turtle.
And they keep them, I'm assuming, inside where it's a constant temperature, or at least as constant as we allowed it to be in our last episode.
Yeah.
Which we talked a whole episode about constant temperature.
I wonder, a cold-blooded reptile, I wonder if they have the same sensing of temperature that we do. Does breeze, relative humidity affect them?
I would think it would.
I wonder. I would tend to say not, because they don't regulate their temperature at all, right?
Right. It wouldn't cause but the temperature would drive them underground.
Yeah,
they would sense the temperature.
They would sense it. But does 68 feel?
Does 68 feel like 68 to a turtle
all the time?
So this couple, because they have these pet turtles, the turtles lose their ability to bury themselves properly.
But they're inside.
They're inside.
They don't need to do that.
They don't need to do that. I don't think they kept them outside. But this article, this particular couple, under the guidance of a veterinarian that knew about turtles or some type of naturalist.
Isn't it amazing how many pets or animals a veterinarian needs to know about?
Yeah. Especially when you get to the cold-blooded realm.
Right.
Yeah, like, do you have a veterinarian for pet snake? Would you take your pet snake to the veterinarian?
The vet.
Or a spider, if you had a pet spider?
That's a good question.
Yeah, or a lizard?
That sounds like a whole nother episode.
That's a whole nother episode.
Do we know any veterinarians? Do we know any
I
veterinarians?
know several veterinarians.
Do you?
Yeah.
We maybe they can get on the, maybe we get them on here, because that don't sound right.
Yeah, that's a good question.
How do you get trained to treat a viral infection of a spider?
So I've had aquariums for a long time.
Have you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You still have them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Where
I still
are
have
they?
one. There's one back in Camille's room.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's a 20-gallon freshwater. But I had a saltwater for a long time.
Oh, that's next level, Cecil.
Yeah. It had saltwater for like 7 or 8 years. And you do veterinary type work on fish there's antibiotics you can get to treat different fish diseases.
Okay.
But I don't think you would go to a veterinarian with a sick fish.
No. But maybe you'd ask them.
Maybe call them.
Maybe call them, ask for some advice.
Maybe have a veterinarian that specializes in aquatic animals.
It'd probably be easier to do a tele appointment.
So these people had pet turtles. And so under the guidance of someone, they figured out a way that they would bury their turtles during the winter. outside.
Oh, they put them outside.
They would go outside, dig down to this prescribed number of feet, and bury their turtles because the turtles couldn't naturally do this.
Right.
And then in the spring, they would dig them back up. And this is how they cared for their turtles.
There's so many things that don't sound right about this.
Well, first of all, is why are you unless you're trying to keep some natural rhythm for the turtle,
which they've lost,
which they've kind of lost. Why are you burying the turtle? Anyway?
No, exactly.
And I would think if I was a turtle living inside, like in a terrarium,
yeah,
I would think I had it made. I ain't got to bury myself anymore.
I mean, what kind of look? I mean, what kind of look on the turtle's does the turtle have on its face? It's looking up at you,
right?
And you're putting this turtle in a hole in the ground.
Yep.
And the turtle looks up at you and says, "What are you doing?" And then you start burying it alive.
You bury the turtle.
I mean, that's got to be a haunting feeling
for a turtle,
or just the owner. I mean, you look down at your turtle, and he's looking up at you, saying, "What are you doing, Mom?"
Can you imagine your neighbor coming over and going, "Hey, where's your turtle at?" "Oh, I buried him in the backyard till the spring."
Yeah.
Now, again, this article was careful to say that this was done under the supervision of somebody that knew about turtles. But I
totally understand that. I totally get that.
I don't understand why you would do that.
But I don't know, so one theory is that perhaps the owner was going away. Maybe they're snowbirds. And where they're going, they can't take the turtle with them. So they can leave the turtle up north, below the frost line, and say, "Okay, I'm going to go to Florida where it's warm. I'm going to bury you in this dark, dank, damp hole.
Right.
I'll see you in the spring."
I was just thinking that if your turtle has gotten used to being inside and all of a sudden you throw them out in the hole outside, that's got to be...
Well, yeah, I would think the turtle would have some prep work to do. I'm thinking as the turtle, okay, I'm going to go ahead and dig a hole. I'm going to bury myself in the ground. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to count to 10, and I'm going to go to sleep for a long time. But that's the turtle choosing to do that.
And the turtle would have to dig its own hole.
Exactly, right. That's fine. But the turtle is choosing to do this. It's prepping. The bodies, the systems are shutting down, ready to go into hibernation.
Right.
But not with domesticated turtle. Into the ground you go. You're buried.
Right. And you've got to time this pretty well because if you have a warm snap, the turtle, I guess, could unbury itself if it needed to.
Well, maybe not this one because they don't know to unbury. They don't know to go bury themselves. They probably don't know to unbury themselves. They don't know when to unbury themselves.
So that don't sound right to begin with. But this article, you can Google this after the show. This couple is burying their turtles every year. Which brings up a bigger question is just how far do you go for your pets? Because people go to great lengths for these things.
Yeah. I mean... And dogs are just at the top of the dogs. Your typical pets like dogs and cats.
Oh yeah,
we were talking about dogs. I mean, it's relatively in the last 50 years where it's commonplace to have a dog inside
the house. I can remember when they passed ordinances that you can't chain a dog to a tree anymore.
Oh right. That's right.
Everybody had a dog. If you had a dog there, at some point in that dog's life, it was chained to a tree.
It was chained to a tree or something.
But now there's ordinances that you can't.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. I know there's an ordinance in Winston you can't chain a dog.
I remember I kind of make fun of the local news agency because that was the headline one night that the sheriff found a dog chained to a tree. That was the headline.
Yeah.
That was like the headline story.
Yeah. All that's changed.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. All that's changed.
I think one difference is that folks have really come to accept and emotionally attach to the pet to the point that the pet is a family member.
Right.
Whereas that emotional attachment wasn't necessarily as strong. Still loved the dog, still enjoyed the dog. The dog lives outside. It's an animal.
Right.
It's a beast. Yeah. It lives outside. Love the dog. You're not coming inside. You belong outside.
Last episode, we were joking that everything always comes back to backpacking at some point. But one trip I was on, we met a guy who was hiking. He was taking his last hike with his dog. His dog had cancer.
Oh, wow.
And so he had taken him on a backpacking trip for the last time. And this was the dog's the last backpacking trip.
Was the dog walking or was he in the backpack?
He was still in good. He was still in enough shape that he was walking, but he knew that this would be the last
Yeah.
last trip which was fairly sentimental. That seems like a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah.
Burying your turtles seems very unreasonable thing to do.
Yeah. There must have been, like we said, there must be a good reason for doing this.
I can't imagine what it is.
I don't think that, I mean, you can't imagine they're trying to train the turtle to release it back into the wild. I'm going to teach you how to hibernate. I don't think they were.
I had a pet turtle for a stint, but we released it back into the wild.
Yeah.
So I guess it wasn't a pet turtle. It was more like a
It was a captured.
It was a captured turtle for short term.
You know, my roommate in college, we lived in a townhouse. He found, when he found him, it was about the size of a silver dollar. It was a snapping turtle.
Oh,
Snapper.
snapping turtles I'm afraid of.
But this one was just, it was the size of a silver dollar. It was very small. And he would feed it, whenever he made his dinner at night, he would take out a little piece of meat and he would feed, we called him soup. And ended up calling it soup. And soup got to be the size of a small saucer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did y'all release him?
We did.
Or
yeah.
you didn't vary?
Never had to, because soup was always in the water in his aquarium.
I had a pet snake, a true pet snake for a while.
Snake.
Mm-hmm. So I had like a terrarium. It was I'm going to tell you the name. I got in a long argument with somebody about this one time. So we might be getting ready to have a discussion about
Let's go.
It was a puff adder.
A puff adder. Okay.
Yeah. And it's a hognose snake, which looks very much like a rattlesnake.
Okay.
But it's not. They're not venomous.
All right. Triangular head?
Triangular. It looks a little bit of a triangular.
Okay.
Head. Yeah, but it's called a hognose snake. But
Hognose.
in the area that I've got him in, they're called puff adders because they puff up.
Really?
But the word adder, I think, is what throws people, because most people associate an adder with a poisonous
snake. Right.
Right. Or like some type of pit viper.
Yes. I think those adders, those are the snakes at the bottom of the tomb in Indiana Jones.
Yes. They were adders. Yeah.
Adders.
Right. Yeah. But this is
most deadly.
Yeah. I didn't go to any great lengths for him, though. But he would live underground somewhere.
Where'd you find him?
Oh, my granddad's farm.
So you just captured him?
I captured
and put him in a terrarium?
Yep. I had him for a long time.
I heard garter snakes are quite good to have as pets in a terrarium. Garter snakes are. Yeah. They're fun to have. I have
a friend that
they're very active and they eat.
Have personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, a puff adder was the same way. He had a little bit of a personality. It seemed like.
When you say puff, does like the entire snake like blow up like a hot dog, or just the cheeks? Okay.
Yeah. So I think maybe he makes himself look like a poisonous snake to discourage.
Oh, yeah.
No, I just made all that up. I have no idea if that's true.
Well, you should have. You should have invoked the Billman effect.
The Billman effect. But I don't think I can't imagine going to any great lengths for that snake. In fact, I ended up giving him to a science teacher when I moved from the house we were in to another city, because we were in Rocky Mount at the time and moved back to Cary, my hometown, and I actually donated that terrarium and everything to the science.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah,
how big did he get?
Well, it was more because my parents told me I had to.
Right. You either bury the snake or you give it to the science teacher.
Yeah. But he wasn't big. I got him when he was little.
All right. What other pets have you had, and what lengths have you gone to for them?
We
already know my story on pets.
So Peter is. Have you had any pets?
So growing up, truly growing up, we had a dog and a cat.
Okay,
but
so you've had pets,
but
not as an adult.
Not as an adult.
I remember when Christian and I first got married, we had a dog, and I remember, and we were in the mountains, and it was getting ready to have a real snowstorm, and the ethical thing to do was to bring the dog into the house.
Why?
So it wouldn't freeze. I mean, I had a dog house that was very nice and comfortable. And
the dog house has a nice bubble of air around it.
Just like we talked about last time. The dog would probably have been fine. But it was getting to that time in history where people were like, bring your dogs in when it gets super cold.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we brought the dog into the basement, which was heated. And so I remember that being a very strange thing to do, bring a dog into the house. But now, as you know, when you come to the studio,
here's Hazel.
32 years later, I have a dog in the house.
Hazel's ruling the roost.
Dog's on the couch. Not just in the
Right.
house, has own bed on the couch.
Exactly.
It's the times change, man. And what people do for animals and dogs.
Yeah, our dog and our cat, they were inside animals too.
Yeah.
They were inside animals too.
Now we've had guinea pigs. Is that right? Yeah, we had guinea pigs for a while. And we had birds for a while. We've had fish, birds, guinea pigs, and dogs.
We've had my youngest daughter, she's had frogs.
Frog, like little dart frogs?
Yeah.
Oh, those are pretty cool.
And yeah, she was part of a, I don't know, elementary school fun thing. And they're not supposed to last long.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't last long.
Huh.
These frogs lasted, I don't know, they must have lasted
Really?
must have lasted 2 years.
Y'all must have cared for them well.
We didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
She didn't clean them. She didn't clean a tank. She fed them. I don't know how they made it. I mean, one by one, they eventually all perished, I'm sure, of old age. But then she also had some fish, and we didn't understand the whole fish to volume of water ratio thing and how you can put too many, even tetras, too many fish in a tank, they get stressed out and die.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yep. There's a lot to the fish stuff.
There is a lot to the fish stuff. I had no idea that fish get stressed out and die.
Yeah.
They had she had a couple tetras with a beta, and the beta croaked first.
Yeah.
He couldn't handle I guess they're all introverts or something. They couldn't handle the population of people.
Well, the betas people get confused by because they have them in those little volumes of water in the store, so everybody thinks you can keep them in a teacup, but betas really need like several. It's good to have them like in a 5 to 10 gallon tank.
Oh yeah.
But back to our original thing.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Is there anything that we were just talking about people doing strange things in pet ownership? I think burying your turtle tops the list.
That's probably the highest.
Yeah.
I guess I'll have to go look at the article and read a little bit deeper on why they felt like they had to do this. Right? It's sure you can, but do you have to? And if so, why? If not, then again, why?
Well, it'd be like me telling my domesticated dog that, for 3 months of the year, she's got to go like fend for herself in the wild for food.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And like trying to teach it to hunt again. I mean, why would you do that?
Right.
Because they can just go to their food bowl and just eat whatever they want to eat.
We were talking about, though, the relationship between humans and dogs. I mean, there is a really good biography about Teddy Roosevelt. He's a big hunter. And he had a couple dogs in his life that he just loved. And these dogs went and hunted for him.
Would hunt for him?
Yeah, I mean, these are the dogs he would send out, and they would tree the bear or the wildcat, and he'd be able to get to them. He loved these animals, but these animals never stayed inside.
I'm actually reading a biography of him right now.
Yeah?
I'm reading The Bully Pulpit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you'll get into the area where he talks about his hunting.
Yeah. He's an interesting guy. Yeah, he probably, I can't imagine, would pamper a dog, though.
No, but I mean, he loved his dog.
I feel like after this episode, people are going to rush out and Google about this couple burying their turtles every year.
Well, I do wonder if any of our listeners have turtles and are wondering why they haven't buried theirs.
Maybe it'll become a thing. Maybe people will be pressured into like burying their turtles, that it will be good care. It'll only be good care if you bury your turtle.
But here's the thing, man. What if you did it wrong?
And killed your turtle?
And killed your turtle.
I think there's probably a very, very thin line between doing it right and doing it wrong.
And I think I would probably cross that line. I think that's the line I would unfortunately cross.
Can you imagine in whatever month you would do?
I mean,
November.
You have to have a really good reason for doing it because there's a chance you're going to kill your turtle.
And you bury your turtle and kids see it. And then 4 months later, you dig your turtle up and it's dead. And your kids know that you're the one that buried your turtle to begin with.
I mean, and they would ask the question, they would be asking you, why are you doing it? Why are we doing this? And you'd have a good reason, but they're kids. They probably don't understand the whole idea of hibernation and cold-blooded animals and how they work. And okay. And for that 4 months, they're going to miss the turtle.
Yeah.
They're going to really miss the turtle. And they're going to be so looking forward to getting the turtle back. And then you unbury it and it's dead.
And it's dead.
This sounds like this has no upside, Cecil.
I think if you have deemed a turtle your pet, then I think you were foregoing them having to hibernate. They're just in a perpetual,
Yeah, you just need to suck it
perpetual
up.
state of happiness.
Maybe you can't call it hibernation when really all you're trying to do is get a break from taking care of the animal. That's not a legitimate reason to make your turtle hibernate.
One of us needs to go back and finish reading the article.
Man, yeah, there's just this doesn't seem like the.
Or if you're listening to us and you have an unusual thing you do like that for your pet, then you definitely need to let us know.
Yeah, you have a reptile or a particular animal that needs a particular procedure throughout the year to help the animal self-regulate. I don't know. I'd love to hear about that.
Well, I wonder like if people that really like have chickens, if they bring their chickens in when it gets cold.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. So, you could understand that.
Yeah, you bring your chickens in so they don't freeze to death?
Yeah. You would do that?
No, I wouldn't, but I can understand why.
I can understand why people would do it. They get attached to their chickens, yeah. And
we're talking about chickens. It's as cold as it's been, right?
Yeah,
20 degrees outside,
right,
in the morning. I look out my window and there's these little birds. I mean, they're no bigger than size of a golf ball, right? And they're out there in the grass, poking, looking for food, seeds, or what have you. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, how are these birds just frozen icicles right now? Isn't it amazing how they
cold-blooded?
Isn't it amazing how they can regulate their temperature? They don't have much to regulate.
They're using your theory of the air pocket.
Those wings and the feathers are doing the job.
Right. They're keeping it.
But I really would like to jab a thermometer into them and find out what is their operating temperature. Like we're at 98.7. What's their normal operating temperature?
You probably look that up.
Probably can look that up.
Maybe we'll Google it before the next episode. All right. It don't sound right, but you've come to the end of this turtle burying episode.
Before we close, we want to thank everyone for listening. If this is your first time and enjoyed the conversation and learned something about burying turtles, would you consider hitting the subscribe button on the platform you listen with? Also, if you're that long-time listener, please give us a rating, leave us a review so others can easily find us and join the conversation.
And if you are a turtle and you have been buried, we hope you're enjoying your winter. Hope it's all going well.
If you don't want to be there, let us know. We'll come and rescue you.
We hope to see you in the spring. All right. That Don't Sound Right is a production of TSR Podcast in conjunction with Camel City Studios. I am your co-host and sound engineer, Cecil. Peter is your other host and your web designer. Camille is your barista. Emily does your graphic design. Ella does your Instagram. Giorgio tests our merchandise. Brent is our international brand ambassador. And as always, listener number one is Scott. So until next week, keep talking.
And stay curious.